Good afternoon, everybody. This is not going to be a long video. This is not one of my political rants. This is just an informational video. A lot went on at the city council meeting last night. There have been some questions and some confusion. I have made some phone calls, did a little research, and this is just basically what I've been able to piece together at this point. This is correct to the best of my knowledge. If there's anybody that sees this that has better knowledge or knows me to be incorrect on anything that I say, please feel free to correct me in this, okay? This is the area that we are talking about, most particularly this arrowhead shaped piece of property here, button up next to Summerfield. As you know, Summerfield Phase 1, Phase 2. This was going to be Phase 3. Now, in the February City Council meeting, the Prathers, who own the land, had put in a position to have the zoning change from R1 to R2. The main difference being in an R1 residential, if I'm correct, the minimum lot size is 30,000 square foot, and in R2 it's 10,000 square foot, which means that they will be able to put significantly more houses into this little arrowhead-shaped piece of land. Why would they want to do that? Return on investment. The more houses that they have in there that they can sell, the more profit that they make. That makes sense. Okay? That makes sense. The problem with that is our city council has been trying to straighten out a lot of the zoning issues that the city has been having. Now, there's a lot of people that don't really understand how that works, and I'm kind of one of them. But I will tell you that one of the things that they've had to fight is a lot of the zoning throughout the city, all throughout the city, really didn't have much rhyme or reason. Because for a long time in this town, there was a bit of a good old boy system. I'm not making a criticism right now. I'm just saying in small towns, a lot of times that's the way this works. Okay? So and so needed something zoned so he could put a shop there or he could put a trailer park there. He just went down to City Hall and requested it and went through, and it wasn't a problem. Okay? And in actuality, uh, there was a guy who came to one of our council members last week upset because of the rezoning of Catherine Street properties from R2 to R1. Evidently, some years back, he had bought a piece of property there as an investment property, planned to put apartments on it, and came and complained, brought the minutes from a 2006 council meeting where they had zoned it R2 for him. The interesting thing is, according to the minutes, he walked into the meeting, told George James what he wanted to do and what he needed that property zoned. It was done instantly, right then, no problem. And he walked right back out of the meeting with his property rezoned. No planning commission, no zoning commission, no nothing. No looking at where it was. Okay, that's what okay. Sure thing. All in favor. So that kind of crap is what our current administration is trying to straighten out. Okay? Just to give you an idea of the hill they're trying to climb. But back to the matter at hand. This arrowhead-shaped piece of property here is owned by the Prathers. Now, as some of you may or may not know, our new wastewater treatment facility, which is being built back over this way, okay, off Newmantown Road, I believe, is going to end our dependence on Columbia County for water and sewer, and also on Richmond County for some sewer. This is the Columbia-Richmond County line. Evidently, we send sewage through here to Richmond County, and we are paying a fee for it. The idea in the plan that was put together many years ago, was that the turn and the tie-in would be in this property. Okay? That's where they were going to turn it back to the wastewater treatment plant. Probably part of that was because this part is undeveloped and it's a whole lot easier to dig up and install a sewer main, especially a turn, in an undeveloped property instead of doing it out here somewhere where there's already buildings and houses and stuff, because you've got to tear up and dig up a whole lot to do that. Okay? So the plan went forward with that in mind. All of this work that you've seen going on around Robinson, they're up to paving now. Everything that they've been installed has been according to that plan, where it was going to tie in here. Unfortunately, when our city council elected to deny the petition to rezone from R1 to R2, the Prathers decided that they would not grant the easement to put that tie-in in here. Somehow it was voluntary. I don't know exactly how that worked. Their claim was that they were promised that they would get the zoning that they needed, and in return they agreed to grant the easement, and evidently there was nothing in the paperwork that was done that holds them contractually to give us the easement. They have also stated that if it does not get rezoned, they would put trailers in there. The threat being, of course, that mobile homes in there would drop the value of the Summerfield homes even more. People in Summerfield have been complaining because they've been taking hits already because of the commercial properties and the townhomes that are around them. So our city attorney called that a negotiation tactic. Those of us at the city council meeting, our feeling on it was blackmail. Okay, now that may have been an emotional response on our part. But when the motion was brought up to reconsider and we were discussing it, we were very adamant in that even if it cost us money, we should not give in to blackmail. Now, our city council took a stand last night on principle because we asked them to. Okay? And I was one of the ones that argued for this. And I'm not going to say that they did the wrong thing. Okay? In the long run, I think this will save us trouble and some money moving forward from this, because we have set the precedent that we do not do business that way. If you want to develop in Grovetown, and people are going to want to develop in Grovetown, we're still one of the fastest growing cities in Columbia County. They want to come here. Do not doubt that. You have to do business the right way. But what I think is very important for people to understand is, number one, what led up to the meeting last night, and number two, the headaches that we have just handed our city council. Okay? First of all, the impression that you would have gotten last night had you been at the city council meeting, or if you watched the live stream, was that one of our council members was hearing this for the first time. That would be Deborah Fisher. Eric Blair, of course, was there via a telecommunication, a phone hookup. He is recovering from surgery. He could not be there in person, but he was at least there and was able to participate in proceedings. The reason I say that this was not a surprise to anybody last night is after the city council meeting last month in February, the day after they voted to deny that rezoning, Prather and his lawyer were down at City Hall giving John Waller and Scott, I'm sure, a whole ton of shit. It was at that time that they made the threat about the trailers. Now, that information was sent to everyone, the mayor, the city council, everyone. It was like a week or two later that the issue of the easement came about. Now, Eric Blair, once he found out that there were easement problems, he did go straight to John and Doob and Gary, and I believe he sent emails to the others and said, if we have an easement problem, we need to do something here. And what you need to understand is the reason why that easement is such a problem is that everything that has been done, again, everything up to this point, has been with the idea that this is where it's going to go. Does it have to go through here? No, that's not a magic spot. That's one of the questions that people have. It's not absolutely vital, or nothing will work if it doesn't come through here. The point is, everything that's been done up to this point has been built up to it's supposed to be coming through here. So if they reroute it, now we've got to back up and dig up stuff that we've done, re-engineer, reapply for permits. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to delay our water treatment plant from coming online, which is more money we're going to have to pay Columbia County and Richmond County for sewer. Okay? So basically, a whole ton of time and money. That's why it's an issue. The trailer thing, I halfway think that's a bluff. They don't want to put trailers in there. They want to put houses in there. You know, it was a threat. If they want to be spiteful, could they do it? Sure. Are they going to take money out of their own pocket just to be spiteful? My experience with people with money is not typically no. That was a whole bunch of hot air. But this is why the easement thing is such a problem. This is why it was worth reconsidering. Now, the first one that was actually on board with doing this was Dennis Trudeau. He said, well, I think we need to do this the right way. He did not want to deal with trailers. That threat got to him. And he was willing to reconsider it. Deborah Fisher said it was worth looking at again, but they needed to wait the proper time. Unfortunately, by law, the proper time would have been 12 months. The only way to look at it one more time would be to do a reconsideration before the minutes of the last meeting were confirmed. Okay? I don't understand the legalities behind that. Just understand that's the way it had to be. Okay? So they did the motion for the reconsideration. Sylvia Martin, at this point, I believe, knew basically what part of the problem was. It was at the meeting where all of the factors were made clear to her about the easement and the time and the money and whatnot. I'm of the opinion that it was our input that swayed them last night. Our very, what's the best word I use? Our very boisterous input about how we did not want to cave into this. Okay? So our city council has done what we have asked them to do. They have done it. And I think we should stand by them moving forward regardless of the cost. But what we need to understand is what we have asked for has a cost. Unless some agreement can be made here, now all of this is going to have to be re-engineered and rerouted. That's going to cost time and money. And we're going to have to come up with a way to pay for it. Which means like the wastewater treatment fee is supposed to go up to $20 by next April. They might have to go up on it sooner than that. They're going to have to come up with something. Another problem, because we hammered at them so much last night about how this happened and whatnot, we basically made them admit during the council meeting that some employee made a promise that they weren't supposed to make, allegedly, and that is how the Prathers did that. Well, in doing that, they quite possibly could have admitted liability, and now the Prathers are talking about suing. So we're going to have that on our hands. Okay? I don't know how that'll turn out. I don't know if that'll hold up in court, being as how it wasn't a contractual thing, but just know that the possibility is there. Now, I commend our city council on showing a united front. Eric Blair brought up the motion because he thought it was worth considering, but when he heard how the others voted, he voted with them. And even though they thought that, you know, financially this wasn't the best thing to do, our city council took a stand for us. So what we need to understand is how this problem came about and how they're going to have to handle it moving forward. Okay? So what we need to do at this point is we need to give them a little time to figure out some options and see what they can do. But Carla made the statement last night about the good old boy procedures and how, you know, that's what Gary ran on. And she's right, but, you know, I want to point out this is what they're trying to fix. This is what they're trying to fix with the zoning, and that same thing is what gave them this problem. Now, I will say that when they made their first vote not to change that zoning from R1 to R2, they did not have all the information they needed. Now, our city council can only vote on the information they have, and that's all of them. I don't care what criticisms that I have had of any of them. I don't expect any of them to make a good decision on incomplete information. That's just not humanly possible. If there were legal ramifications from us not changing that zoning from R1 to R2, they should have known about it when they went into that meeting to vote. There are people's jobs. There are people that have jobs that are supposed to give them the briefs that they need to make this decision. So if there was a slip up anywhere, I'm going to say it was there. And that's as far as I'm going to go because I don't want to drag anybody over the coals. But once again, moving forward, understand they've done what we asked them to do. And they presented a united front. Now we need to be ready to support them in whatever they have to do in the aftermath of this. I hope this has helped you to understand what's going on. Thank you.